we're bringing back the podcast as we've just come off the back of our release of Heart of the Game documentary, which we filmed with Maidenhead Rugby Club and England Rugby. We're going to be talking about the documentary, talking about the process behind it, the people involved, and how we kind of brought it to life.
We went from August turning up to do social content, 3 months down the line, interviewing the CEO of England Rugby.
Piece of advice I'd give to any young creative.
The turning point was,
I think within about 15 minutes, Will replied, "Send me your number."
I can safely say, the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
I remember the saying that you've got something, but you need to figure out what that is.
We thought we were halfway up the mountain. We were still at the bottom.
Yeah, so today we're bringing back the podcast. It's been a few years since we had a podcast, and it's been a really interesting few months for couple of years for Polar. And we've just come off the back of our release of Heart of the Game documentary, which we filmed with Maidenhead Rugby Club and England Rugby, and we thought this was kind of the perfect time. We've allowed the dust to settle a bit. It was a very intense 18 months that we were on the project, and we needed a bit of time just to kind of decompress. And so now we are here and we want to kind of dive into it today. So we're going to be talking about the documentary, talking about the process behind it, the people involved, and how we kind of brought it to life, aren't we, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long, long project. And I think we needed a bit of time to decompress, like you said, unwind, reflect, step away from it. And really excited to dive back into the last basically 2 years of our life.
Yeah.
Which not a lot of people get to do, but
Heart of the Game is a 5-part documentary series. It is based on community rugby. I think it's a love story, actually, from our point of view.
Yeah, it's a love story from me, from us talking about and showing a light on what we've grown up with, why people should be involved in community sport, community initiatives, and I guess following a game that we've always loved and giving it the justice it deserves.
We were very lucky. We had a cinema premiere. We got to show it
local farm, yeah.
Yeah, I got to show it. A couple hundred people were there, which is, you said it to me on the night. It was really cool that many people were sat in a cinema watching something we made.
Yeah, because YouTube views, social media views, friends and family going, "Oh, that's cool. Like, really love that." But like people we've never met before coming up to us and being like, "What you did was really cool." It's what you did, isn't it?
So yeah, I mean, Brad and I played rugby for all of our childhoods, basically. I mean, I was the age of 4 when I started.
Yeah, I think I was 6.
Yeah, I was 18 when I decided to hang up my boots. And I think for a few years, Brad and I weren't really involved in the game. And if I go into the backstory now, there was a Will Greenwood who features and narrates the documentary, is former England rugby player, won the World Cup with England in 2003, part of that absolutely legendary squad. And this is, for me, it was a real kind of pinch yourself moment, because the reason I play rugby was that World Cup final. I remember watching it with my dad, the early hours of the morning when they played Australia in Australia. And Will was part of that team, and it's the thing that got me into the game. And so fast forward,
how the world works, doesn't it?
Yeah, so fast forward 22 years later, when I'm DMing Will because he put something on his story. So our good friend Elliot, he plays for Maidenhead, and there was a story that Will put out on Instagram and said, "Look, we're looking for people to come down and film, take some photos." And he's great at telling the story himself, but he was on Instagram the week before. He saw a beautiful slow motion shot of Henry Slade,
cracking video,
for Exeter Chiefs, running down the wing, the hair blowing in the wind. And it was like, why can't we do that for Maidenhead? And I remember Elliot sending me the story being like, you should contact Will. And actually, I was here at the time in our studio, and I remember it was about 2 days the story was up. He'd posted 2 days in a row. I was like, should I reply to him?
What's going to happen? Nothing.
I was like, come on, this guy's got 100,000 followers. He's never, never going to ever.
He'll know someone else.
Yeah, he's never going to reply to me. And funny enough, I think within about 15 minutes, Will replied, said, "Send me your number." I had a phone call with Will. I remember being stood outside. It was a lovely August day.
Yeah.
And he said, "Look, this is what we want to do. I can't promise you any money, but I can promise you some beers."
Which is,
and I said, "Look, that I love beer, so that's going to work for me."
And obviously working with you know, a celebrity, an
Yeah.
athlete, it's always good to build your network and sort of
Yeah, and I think
go
like
out the
you
vein.
know, some of the best opportunities that we've had have been the opportunities that start unpaid, right?
Yeah. Doing
And
a
that,
favor or having a meeting with someone.
and I think Will took a chance on us, and we turned up on that. I think was it a Thursday we turned up for the first time? Or was it, no, it was a Tuesday.
Tuesday, 'cause we did, yeah.
So we turned up on the first Tuesday.
He was surprised we even turned up.
Yeah, he was. And we turned up and we shot the session, and none of the boys knew what was going on. They did. There was just some people with some cameras,
Yeah. Put a mic on Will.
and we got some shots, and it looked really good, didn't it?
It was a lovely evening, golden hour. I mean, couldn't have asked for a better situation.
And yeah, we turned up on that Tuesday, and we went, okay, this is pretty fun. Got some good stuff. And we turned up on the Thursday then, because they train on the Tuesday and the
Yeah.
Thursday, play their games on a Saturday, and we thought we like it down here.
Yeah. More beer.
More beer. And that's when it kind of the ball started rolling. I think the Tuesday was kind of us finding our feet.
People were very like looking at us going, who the hell are these guys? Like,
Yeah.
what are they doing?
Nobody was talking. Nobody talked.
No
to
one
us.
spoke to us. No one spoke to us.
I
But
think-
it was fine. We know we got on with it.
You know, Will spoke to. Will was actually, you know, he was very welcoming. He bought us a beer after.
It was like we knew him, like we knew him for years. At that
Yeah.
point, pretty much told us his life story. We told him our life story. Like,
And from following that, I think it was the Thursday session. That's when it really set in with you and I. Wasn't
yeah.
it?
Well,
That-
we turned up and people started talking to us, and the more we spoke to people,
I remember Will being like, literally, we walked in. He goes, "What are you doing here?" And we were like, "Wow, we're back to film again." And he loved that. I think he loved that we didn't just turned up on our own back.
yeah,
Even if it might have been for the beer, but
it's also a lovely evening again,
it was.
and it's a great place to spend your evening or your day because of the sun.
I remember Brad and I were like, the second day we were down, there's a running track next to the rugby club. And I mean, we'd stayed for a few beers after, and you were like, let's just have a chat. So,
Yeah,
you know, we were walking around this running track, and it was probably, I think within 30 seconds, you and I both simultaneously said to each other, like, we can do much more than just social content.
yeah,
It was, you walk into Maidenhead, and it's such a welcoming rugby club, and there's so many different characters
Yeah.
there. And you know, there's these people that are just naturally you kind of gravitate towards
Yeah.
because they are just very welcoming, very hospitable.
yeah.
They just want you to be part of their club. And I felt very welcome.
Yeah.
And I think you and I, you know, having played rugby, we were both parts of rugby clubs growing up, and we've been out of that environment for a few years. And I think that we were kind of, it was almost like we were missing it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of places that you walk into that don't make you feel very welcome, like in day-to-day life. But walking in there, because we'll get into it, rugby clubs, their numbers are dwindling, volunteer numbers are dwindling, like kids not playing as much sport. I think anyone that walks through the door at Maidenhead, they're like, how do we make sure that these people stay and can help us because we need help?
Yeah, and I think we didn't quite realize is how, you know, finances are tight for everybody at the moment, right? The economy is not what it used to be. It's hard to make money. It's hard to survive at the moment. And I think, and this is partly before the documentary, is one, the club wanted to raise awareness, and they took a chance on us.
Yeah.
And you know, we realized that we could do our own bit. You know, there's more that we can do.
I think meeting the people and instantly we're like, God, I want to help you. Like, I want to be part of this. Like, within what collectively probably there for 5 hours over 2 days.
And it's something bigger than yourself, right? And I think that's what
we were missing.
Yeah.
I think realistically, we could probably say that. Like, we'd spent, what was that, 2024? So we'd spent 5 years doing stuff for ourselves to make us money to survive. And we were finally like, how do we use what we know to help
other people. Because as a business, I think it's a really hard thing to say, right, okay, we're going to stop on the paid work to do some free work.
Because we believe in it.
You know, we spoke to Will. I remember you and I, we had the conversation walking around the running track. We were like, right, okay, I think we can do a documentary here.
Yeah. It wasn't, it was originally like, there's something here.
There's something, yeah, we weren't I think documentary is what we both wanted to do.
I think we threw that word out, obviously, without realizing
it was,
how the hell do you make a documentary?
And I think that idea of a long form content
even if it
interested us.
we probably said YouTube video just
Mm.
about Maidenhead or something like that.
So, and I remember calling up Greens, Will, and saying, look, I've got an idea. We want to come back. We want to keep coming down to Maidenhead, possibly do a documentary. What do you think about it? And Will said to me, he goes, give me 10 minutes. Hung up the phone, and that was it. And
He's a very, very ominous man. Few words at times.
yeah,
He will just leave you on a cliffhanger, which is great.
And
Great storytelling.
and it is. And I remember pacing around my garden, and I was being like, oh, okay.
What does this man
I
do?
rang you,
Yeah.
and I said,
I'm freaking out.
Will's just told me, give me 10 minutes, and I was like, I don't know what he's going to do. And he rang me back, and I swear to God, exactly on the minute, 10 minutes later, rang me back and said, I got you some money. We didn't even know what we were going to do.
Yeah.
And he got us I think it was about £1,000 he got us from local people that he know who kind of support the club. I think Will put some of his own money in and said, look, just keep coming down. When you run out of money, tell me, and we'll figure out the next phase.
Yeah.
And we just then spent, so this was August. So we then spent a month to the start of the season. We did a couple pre-season games, just trying to figure out what we could make.
Yeah. What we were capable of doing as well, on obviously shorter time frames because we had other work and stuff. What could we possibly do with it?
And yeah, I mean, because we had, I think a big thing was we all of a sudden started coming down with multiple cameras, especially for the games. We had 2 or 3 people coming down sometimes.
Yeah.
And all these boys were like, what the hell is going on? Because we actually kept it a secret from the rest of the boys.
Yeah.
From the rugby. So when I say the boys, I'm talking about the first team.
Yeah.
And the first and the second team, the seniors in the club, because we kind of started with them, because that's where, if you looked at club rugby at that point in time 2 years ago, the problem was within the senior teams.
Yeah.
That across the country, the senior teams did not have the numbers that they once had. I remember our first interview session, Phil, he plays a big part in the documentary series, saying, we used to have 7 or 8 men's teams.
Yeah.
We're now down to 2, and we struggle to get 2 teams out. Whereas the minis, which is the juniors, the teenagers, the kids,
4 to, what was it, 15 or 16? Yeah.
They were,
always
2,000 members nearly in the club at that section. They were doing great. But the real issue was taking rugby players from Colts, which is 16 to 18, at college, kind of keeping them in their club.
Yeah. We could relate to it as well as 2 people who stopped playing post.
We were the problem.
Yeah.
We were literally the problem. So
it becomes very hard, and like people say, like, a lot of people have to work on Saturdays now, so they can't play games, or a lot of people have to work shift work, or people aren't, I don't know, you've got to pay to be a member of a rugby club, obviously. So it's like, can people afford to give up a couple £100 to be part of a rugby club? Can they give up their Saturdays? Can they give up their Tuesdays and Thursday evenings? So it's a lot of commitment. So that's where the story was from, basically.
Yeah. And I think we kind of initially thought we were going to purely focus on the first team.
Yeah.
And then I think we sat down. This is where we then introduced Boffy, who is chairman of the rugby club, Stephen Boff, legend of Maidenhead Rugby Club.
Yeah, done a lot for that club.
Been at the helm as the chairman since 2013.
Yeah.
He sacrifices a lot. I remember meeting his wife for the first time. She goes, "Yes, I'm the widow."
The rugby club widow.
The rugby club widow is a common thing.
Yeah.
And he kind of sat us down and was like, right, this is what we want. Yeah. Boffy sat us down and said, look, this is everything that I would like you to film.
And that was a long list.
And it was a very long list.
We were like, holy, what is this? We were coming down to film the men's first team. Obviously, we could relate to them. We spoke to a few boys. We were like, oh, these guys are pretty interesting. A couple lads from South Africa, a couple lads that were traveling from London, which is probably, 45 minutes to an hour on the train to come play for Maidenhead. So it was like, oh, all of these guys, great stories.
And then all of a sudden, Boffy kind of slams this list down. And I think Boffy and I have joked about it since. And he's like, he could see on my face when he showed it to me, I was thinking, there is no way we're fitting half of this in. And actually, now, to be in fairness,
we did a lot of it.
We did a lot of it. And I think us being open to change in this project has been a key factor the whole time.
Yeah, which we'll touch on throughout, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that when we kind of realised that, okay, this is a bigger story than the first team.
Yeah.
Which I think we were probably quite, initially, I think we were against.
Yeah, because we'd gone in there And like I said, we'd met the coaches, we'd met the first team boys, met the second team boys, same group, and we were like, oh, these guys are cool. We can see something of this. We kind of took a bit of the Wrexham documentary, sort of took some ideas from that, and we're like, oh, we could do something like this where we follow a couple of the players, behind the scenes life, a couple of the coaches, talk about the history of the club, and that would be about it, because that's what we knew.
And I think, like you say, we were looking at what was in the market at the time, and it won't be a surprise to anyone that we were looking at things like the Amazon documentaries and
the full
Netflix
context
one,
Full Contact on Netflix,
and the Wrexham one from Disney. So we were looking at these, and we're like, okay, so you take the same format of that, but you do it for community rugby, and you do it because there was nothing like,
and that's we were like, that's a shoe-in.
Yeah,
that's a shoe-in. No one's doing that. But fast forwarding a bit, now we're seeing it done a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of community, a lot of ex-pros
going back,
giving something back to the community, and I get that. And also, we started a trend.
It seemed to happen all at the same time, though, and I think
which is good.
I think people, I mean, particularly like when we looked at the rugby one, Full Contact, it didn't, like, we're big rugby fans, right? Brad and I love our rugby.
We would go every week, but
you
can touch into why we don't go to every club every week.
That documentary just didn't feel real, and I think we were really kind of set in our ways that we don't want that. Let's show rugby for what it is, because actually rugby it's a very special thing, and there's not many sports like it in the world.
No. And like everyone, like we spoke to a lot of people now, obviously at the rugby club, people going, well, after you finish playing a football game, that's not a clubhouse that everyone goes back to, a range of ages, you don't all socialise after. You go play football most of the time, and then you leave. You're in a random field. Cricket, middle ground, but there's not a range of people.
And the cricket really is seasonal. Whereas rugby, even in the summer,
it's open. People are the game there. People are playing touch. People are
sevens,
running, even just like speed
training,
tests, And I think that is what we tried to show, and what we tried to really tell the story of the community. It's not just, obviously, it's not just on the pitch.
Because actually, if we look at it, the 5 episodes, there's actually very little game time in there.
Yeah.
There's one episode that really focuses on a particular game.
One of the best games ever.
I mean, they Maidenhead played Jersey. It's episode 4.
Yeah.
You've got to watch it.
My favourite episode by far.
Yeah, I think it's mine too.
Yeah.
But we wanted to show that there's more to rugby than just actually playing the game.
Yeah, because everyone knows what that is.
It is.
You see it every week. You see it on TNT or whatever it is, HBO, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
See it on ITV, see it on the Six Nations. Everyone watches that. That's cool. You know what it is. Pass the ball backwards, scrums, lineouts, all of that. That's not what it's about, which is what we thought it was going to be about.
We're now in September, going into October of 2024.
Jesus.
Which is obviously a long time. Like, it's actually quite a while now to think about. We're coming up on the 2-year mark since that.
Yeah.
What would you say in your mind was the turning point for us? When did you know, particularly as the one who edited it, and you were the main camera operator?
Yeah.
So for people to understand the roles here, Brad is the main editor. He was the main cameraman on the documentary. I took the producer role and then helped out on camera when Brad needed me to.
Yeah.
If he wasn't there at a game, I'd take the lead and vice versa. Yeah. So when did you kind of start to see, like, all right, this is probably different to where we originally thought it was?
So I would probably say the turning point was the Minis Festival. So that's when all the age groups from under 5s till 12s, or is it older?
Yeah, it is.
The kids. All the kids at the rugby club, they play games against all the other local teams. Big festival. Everyone plays everyone. It's a bit of fun. Get all the local teams out. And I think we filmed that day with, 3 camera ops?
So we had, we had Toby.
Yeah.
We had Maya.
Yeah.
Helping with social.
Yeah.
We had Jay. We had
Carl,
you, and I.
Yeah.
I was overseeing everyone.
Yeah. So
but you kind of took the lead.
3 video camera ops, 2 social people. So within this documentary film, we were also helping with their socials.
And this was part of the deal, wasn't it? So the deal was we could film the documentary, but we had to help the club with their social presence.
which was fine.
Which is because it was already what we were filming. So this is why we were kind of always doubling up on these filming days.
Which is what was hard. Which is why I say it switched.
Yeah.
Because that was the first day that I think me personally filmed documentary content. Purposely documentary content.
Because you were following Kate Swin, who...
And that was Wodgy.
Yeah.
So I followed Chris
Wodgy.
Wodgy.
You did follow Kate as well for a little bit.
Yeah. Talking about the importance of minis, the importance of these festivals, the importance of getting kids playing as much as possible, and also like integrating other clubs. Also showing off the club in the best way possible, inviting so many families down. So I think that's when I was like, all right, I think we can do something. That's the first like story we told that wasn't just game day vlog style content.
Yeah, and I think for me as well, that's probably also the same day, because that was when we went from you and me to all of a sudden that was a crew.
Yeah.
And that crew followed us through that documentary for the next 18 months.
Yeah, come in and out whenever we needed them, which was great.
And actually, I think for me, from a production point of view, you know, then now managing a bigger team and making sure everything's being captured. And we've got, you know, on a day like that you've got hundreds of matches going on all in the same day. And you're trying to capture the best content to tell that story.
Yeah.
But we didn't really know at that point what we were telling still.
No.
We knew we were telling a wider club story now.
But what that meant was...
we had no clue on formatting. And I think this is how we would approach things differently this time is, you know, we went into this with maybe the idea of doing 5 45-minute episodes.
We've been one hour episode.
Yeah.
It was still like that on the card. So it was just like...
We were just kind of filming and seeing where it was going and trying. This is where we spent a lot of time tinkering at this, right? At this point, like, okay, do we need this many in the crew? How many cameras do we need?
Yeah.
You know, because I think this is when the footage really started to build up as well. So we're now hitting November 2024.
Yeah. So we've spent all the money that Will gave us.
Yep. And I've had to go back to Will for more money.
Yeah. Not in a way of like, we need to spend more money. Just the fact that like, we're now getting crew in that we're paying off our own back. And how sustainable that's going to be the long term, not sure.
What I think a lot of people didn't realize at the club was actually how much financial investment we as a company put into the project.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine.
You know, we were getting the first payment, I believe, from Will was about £1,000.
Yeah.
Which took us. We had to buy a little bit of equipment.
Yeah.
We had
more mics,
couple
of hard drives,
and I think the biggest cost of this, other than crew, storage and hard drives were the biggest cost.
Yeah. So I think we bought 2 4 terabyte SSDs. We bought some mics. We bought some action cams, and then 2. Did we buy those desktop hard drives then?
No, that was later.
That was later. So we bought 2 4 terabyte hard drives. We bought 2 DJI action cams. We bought a pair of DJI mics, and was that? Yeah, that was it.
I think that was it. And that's where, you know, I remember going back to Will and he was like, what, you've spent the money already? And I had to explain to him about storage, and he didn't quite understand the cost that goes into this thing.
Yeah, people don't understand. That's a big part of it, is making sure that it's all the data's there.
Yeah, and you've got to protect that. That is your asset at the end of it. And you know, when you've got three camera operators operating cinema cameras, filming for 8 hours in a day.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that racks up really quickly, and that soon became the weekly occurrence because we were doing. Okay, so we did most of the home game. We did every home game that season.
We did every home game that season.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And we did 2 or 3 away games. So this is every week. You're pretty much you had a 3-man crew filming for 5 to 6 hours at a time.
Yeah. Not knowing what we were capturing as well. So just capturing everything.
Yeah.
Because we had no idea what we were doing.
And then shortly after that, in November, we then followed it up with Unity Cup.
Yeah, that was a big one as well. Yeah.
And that was our kind of second big filming day. We filmed a couple of interviews at this stage, haven't we?
Oh no, yeah. Before Unity, we did the interview day, didn't we?
Yeah. So we did an interview day.
October
24th.
Yeah, but 23rd, I think.
Let's deep dive into the first interview day, because that was actually when Will had called in a few favors for us.
Yeah, and he was like, "If you're serious about this, I will be serious about this. And then it quickly grew.
Yeah. So we had that same crew that
Yeah.
day. We had, on that first interview day, we had Bill Sweeney, CEO of England Rugby. We had Clive Woodward, Sir Clive Woodward, I should say.
Sorry, yeah.
Winning England manager for the World Cup in 2003. We had Steve Granger, who's head of community at the RFU.
Yeah.
We then had series of people from the club itself.
So we had Will Greenwood.
Yep.
There. We had
Billy,
who's the club manager.
Boffy,
Chairman.
who else did we have?
Dickie, Richard Brown.
Yep, club.
Is he the president?
He's the president.
He's the president, yeah. Sorry.
And so we had all of these. This is where
figureheads of the club.
And I think this is where we were trying to figure out one. I mean, at this point, right? England had kind of. So we did a deal with England later down the line. That's almost a year later.
Yeah.
And this is where they've heard about the project.
Will's said something.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
And we're trying to figure out how
can we make this legit, so when England come in and sit down for the interviews, they're like,
yeah. And we were really lucky. Like, Bill gave us a load of time, and he's the CEO of England Rugby.
let's not tread lightly on this. We went from August turning up to do social content to two and maybe 3 months down the line interviewing the CEO of England Rugby,
who is in charge of the largest rugby union in the world.
Yeah. Probably the most scrutinized. What do I call it?
I think it's the most scrutinized job.
Association.
Yeah. It's the most scrutinized job in world rugby, I would say.
Yeah. Maybe in sport.
Yeah, it's,
maybe under FIFA, maybe.
100%. Because I know who Bill is. I don't know who the head of the FA is. It's not as they don't get the attention that
yeah. Bill's out there all the time, yeah.
And so I think that was a massive massive moment for us that we kind of had it legitimized the project.
Yeah. Maybe the Minis Festival was when I felt like we're filming a documentary. The first interview day, felt like this is way bigger than we even knew. Because I think I think at that point we were going through the motions. We were just like, people were saying this. We were like, let's do an interview day. Will Greenwood goes, I'll get Bill Sweeney. And we were like, cool. Don't believe you, but work your magic. Now we know that Will and Bill do chat
on a regular basis
about
rugby. And Will often call up Bill and tell him, this is what's going on.
This is what I think.
This is what I think.
Yeah.
And give his opinion on the state of the England team, the state of rugby as a whole.
Yeah.
Will is a very passionate man about rugby. He cares about the sport. I think the first clip that we filmed with him, he said, "You're going to have to carry me off in a box. This is my sport and I love it."
Yeah.
And I think that passion, when he was able to get Bill in a room, I was like, okay, this is...
This guy's know what this guy's serious.
Will wants to be part of this project. He wants this to succeed.
Yeah.
And I think, so this is a piece of advice I'd give to any young creative is you don't have to have all the answers to start with. I think we did what any good creative would do is just start. The biggest thing is starting.
We'll just wing it. We had no idea what we were doing. We were just like, we trust in ourselves to be able to produce something at the start. Momentum, we talk about that.
Yeah, the momentum builds.
We build momentum, and then from there, we had the CEO of the RFU.
And I think, if you don't, sometimes, you don't want to miss an opportunity, and you're not always going to have all of the answers, but just taking a risk on yourself that it will work really paid off for us.
Yeah.
We wanted to make a documentary, so we're like, okay,
how do we do that?
You just do it. You just start, and you figure out as we go.
Exactly. So we had the interview day. We got loads of people in. We had a really slick setup with 4 cameras, 3 camera ops. Conor was asking the questions with greens. We flew through them in the day. We were there from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. Amazing man, Jamie, who works the bar at Maidenhead, as soon as we finished, poured us a pint of Guinness. Possibly the most deserved Guinness, I think, we've ever had.
100%.
Maybe to date.
And it was... And that's the thing,
we were there with the crew. and it was just
I remember being after that day thinking like, yeah, this is happening now.
yeah. Well, we had to.
I know it was like, and I remember you and I actually said, "There's no turning back now." Like
we're locked
gotta,
in.
Yeah,
we are locked in. Yeah,
and I think like
that was scary.
it was mad because you've before you could get away with it, you could probably pull the plug and be like, right,
No one's gonna know.
it's a bit of social content.
Yeah.
This is now like we're putting pictures out of behind the scenes with Bill, with Will.
Will Greenwood's put stuff on his story,
And it's kind of like, all right, we've got to go now. We got to produce.
Yeah.
And it kind of snowballed even further from that point. I think we got another few. We had the Unity Cup, which is another big filming day.
Yeah.
Which is for the Unity. Anyone who doesn't know, Unity Cup is the Berkshire Unicorns, which is an LGBTQ plus team. It's the biggest LGBTQ plus rugby tournament in Europe.
Yeah.
Which we never knew about. The Unicorns are based out of Maidenhead Rugby Club. They invited us in to their club as well, and we saw that actually there is another side to rugby, and that is
we had no idea about.
And they play the format of 10s.
Yeah,
which I didn't actually really know was a thing.
I knew it was a thing. I don't know it was like a.
I
don't know if it's like a league recognized thing, but yeah.
And we kind of dived into that story, and that's episode 3, isn't it?
Yeah, and met some amazing people. Again, they're based out of Maidenhead. Maidenhead hosts them. Met all of those guys. Like, incredible bunch. They really, for once, and probably the first time we'd ever turned up with cameras and mics, and they were like, "Get me on film. Give me a mic. Let me talk about my story." And we were like, "This is amazing."
And there were some heavy hitting stories in that one as well.
There was a lot of stories. You'll have to obviously watch episode 3.
But talking about belonging and actually I think rugby, and if anything, it shows this in this episode that there is a place for everybody because
and there's a family to be found.
Yeah. I think you could be any shape or size and you can play rugby.
Said a lot in the documentary.
Yeah. And I think that really showed it to me, and the amazing support that they get as well.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was a great part. So I think we're now getting to the point where we're kind of figuring this is like the end of November.
Yeah.
We're coming into the Christmas period.
Yeah.
And I think we've started to find our story now, haven't we?
We'd followed the hierarchy. We'd followed the people at Maidenhead. We'd followed key members there. We'd followed the Unicorns. We'd followed the Minis for a little bit. We had the opportunity to look at a proper bank of stories, which I think for the first time in this process, we were like, okay, we've got something to work with here. So it gets to November.
Yep.
And this is when Will talks to us and says, can you get a sizzle video?
Yeah.
And can you get a cut of what you think episode 1 or an episode would look like? He was obviously going to go show his friends and people that he knows about the story. So that's when we first looked at all of the content and was like, okay, we need to make a story out of this. So when we talk about episode 1, this is when we made the first draft of episode 1.
So I remember November, because when we got to November, this is where Will was starting to pull in his contacts we were starting to think about, are we going to go to TV?
Yeah.
And we started looking at is this broadcast format?
That's who Will knew.
Yeah, and Will had a lot of TV background. He worked on Sky Sports, was a pundit, and we started talking to people that he knew within the industry. And this is where we were trying. I remember having a few phone calls with TV executives, talking to the likes of Amazon,
which is also mental.
Yeah, that we were even, I remember being in a meeting, on a Zoom meeting, and then them watching it. And and actually they were really good about it in terms of, okay, look, you might not be
where you need to be.
Yeah. But there is a chance here that you've got something. I remember they're saying that you've got something, but you need to figure out what that is.
And we had no idea still.
And we were still kind of going through the motions, because in our mind it was going to be 45 minutes to an hour, if not 5 episodes.
Yeah.
But what were those actual episodes how they were going to be structured? And I think that was, because we were still filming the season, and actually some of the best, this is November, December, we still haven't had some of the best moments from the documentary even filmed yet. So we're talking about Bracknell away game, the Jersey game, Bracknell home game, Jersey home game. Had we done our Jersey trip at that point? No, we haven't been to Jersey as well.
No.
So we had some of these really big moments that make up the documentary hadn't even happened.
And people were asking us, like, to do the structure or to do this and to do that. And we were like, we weren't even filming for like 3 months. We're expecting to do this for another 6 months at that point, I guess we could
Yeah,
say.
so because the season was, so at this point, like we're going to go into the second half of the season. The season ends at the end of April, start of May. So we still got, we always knew we were going to have the follow of the season.
Yeah.
Because that just made, it was a year in the life of a rugby club, ideally.
Yeah.
And actually, by the end of the documentary, you see it starts off at pre-season, it ends at pre-season.
Yeah.
Because actually, what we found was the life cycle of a rugby club never really stops.
Nope.
There's always something you're doing. And I think we really wanted to be able to show that. So we had to stick around for that.
Yeah. And I think that's the way that we can maximize the most stories.
And you also had a big thing that features is the girls' changing room.
Yeah.
So you had the Women's World Cup going on in the UK.
Yeah.
And you had what was called the Impact 25 project,
Yeah.
which was these projects trying to help community rugby clubs invest in infrastructure for women's rugby.
Yeah. To create a lasting impact further on than just the tournament.
And so all of these things had to happen. And so I remember that the first sizzle was actually really good. And I think we put an Instagram sizzle out and it got something like 25,000 views in the first couple hours.
Yeah, on Will's page, yeah.
Which we were like, oh my God, 25,000 people watched this.
What the hell?
Really cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when I knew we had something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. But those, you know, in the background we're filming, those talks with TV are still going on. We haven't even been approached by England at this point.
No, we had no idea.
And so, yeah, we were just kind of, I think the biggest thing in this time was we were building the trust.
Yeah, we just kept turning up. We kept saying, we want to film this, we want to do this, showing our interest. We were turning up most Thursdays to film the first team for social content, turning up most Saturdays to film social content as well, but a bit of documentary stuff. And we were still sort of plugging away at the documentary.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, until the end of the year.
Yeah.
We were still like, okay, we got to keep this going.
And actually, okay, so what would you say in those periods of time were some of like the biggest challenges we faced?
I think because we had been working in the creative space for 5 years and we'd kind of been doing the same sorts of things.
Mainly short form.
Mainly short form, mainly website stuff, mainly a bit of social stuff. All sort of manageable tasks.
Quick turnaround.
You shoot for a day, you edit for 2 days, you deliver, you get some amends, you finish it. Filming loads of stuff that wasn't going to be touched for a while definitely was the biggest challenge for me, because I was like, how do I visualize the end product of something that I've only shot and I haven't edited?
And I think I remember you saying to me that if we were to do this again, we would look more closely at the footage as and when we're filming it.
Yeah. But at that time, we were doing our other corporate jobs. We would do, as in like we were filming for other corporate people. And then the documentary stuff was sort of just like evenings, weekends, early mornings.
It was it was a real like side hustle.
It was a passion project.
It was a passion project. Brad and I were running businesses each.
Yeah.
I was working as a teacher part-time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I had 3 different jobs that year, for that 18 months. You had your own job.
Yeah.
And just trying to balance it, which is hard.
Yeah. And making sure that you're doing the right thing. And that's always what we were saying is like, are we doing the right thing? It's like, well, we don't really know. We have to just trust that we are.
And I remember we then we fast forward a bit to the end of the season to last April. We decided, we took a bit of time off.
Yeah.
Do about a month.
Yeah.
Because we were exhausted. We'd been literally working every week, we're working all hours of the day, all the time. And I remember we took a bit of time off and then we started working with Jake, who was another editor.
Yeah.
Because we just weren't sure we could pull off the edit.
We didn't know what the edit was. We could sort of like vocally talk about it.
Yeah.
But it was like, who was going to put that down in a timeline? Jake had done some longer form bits.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, just smash it out, just see what you can do.
Just give it a go. I mean, I think that was a build. And I remember Jake getting quite frustrated with us because
fair enough, like 100%.
We didn't know what we were trying to lay down. and we were trying to really Frankenstein things together.
Yeah.
And that was like, this is where our inexperience has started to show.
Yeah.
And very easily we could have walked away at that point.
Yeah, because that was like, we thought we were halfway up the mountain. We were still at the bottom.
Yeah.
We were still at the very bottom of that mountain.
And I don't think I think there was kind of like this bit of a reality check moment, and we were like,
we need to look at this properly.
This is way bigger than we ever anticipated.
Yeah.
We maybe should have thought about this a bit more. And I think that was, it's not a bad thing. Like, I think that was a massive learning curve for us. And actually, I needed that to happen to really kick me into gear and be like, okay, if you're going to do this, it's a massive project.
Give some time.
You've got to put your all into it. And I remember when we finally got that cut together, it wasn't perfect. And I remember this is when Will and I were, like, that summer we were really intensely picking up. Things were really intensifying around, okay, where is this going? And this is where we were like, now we need a deal. And actually, really what we needed was money to finish the project.
Yeah.
Because the filming was 90% done.
And we'd done that, us two, pretty much most of it for free.
Yeah, we had
putting our own money into it as well.
Every penny that we got given, which was only a few £1,000s at this point, was spent on other people.
Yeah.
We never took a penny of ourselves. We took our other corporate jobs and it paid for this job.
Yeah. We were taking less money.
Yeah. And that was when, like, there was a big moment where we were like, okay,
we need to see something from this now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember calling Will up again and being like, we need a deal, and we need a deal soon, because otherwise I'm not sure. One, I remember you getting frustrated because it was like, it was becoming a huge amount of work on your part.
Yeah.
Mine was very different. I'm sat behind a laptop screen trying to put a deal together, that
calling people,
which is fine, but it's like, you're trying to put this down on the story.
Yeah.
And like, I wasn't very much involved at that stage.
Yeah.
And then I remember we kind of spent the summer and we were like,
we're not getting anywhere.
We're not really getting anywhere. And that's when September 2025, that's when the first conversation started happening with England Rugby.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of England Rugby. They came in and saved us, because I remember at this point we were like, we needed a load of archival footage of Will to try and tell Will's backstory to the project.
Yeah.
And I started seeing it was my job to organise how much that was going to cost. And I'm in conversation with World Rugby, and I'm in conversation with a few other people to get the rights to that footage. And I was like, we can't afford this.
Yeah, there were just so many price tags. We were like, who is paying this?
And I remember talking, I think there was, at one stage, it was ITV I needed a piece of footage from, and it's £1,000 a minute for the footage. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, and because you got to remember, we're looking at commercial licensing. We're looking for it to be broadcasted. We're looking for it to go on TV.
Yeah. Whole different
kettle of fish.
Yeah.
And those price tags were like, okay, so now we've got to pay for someone to edit it. We now need to pay to license the music. We now need to license the footage. And there was just all these things mounting up. And I was like, well, we need to figure this out.
Yeah. We can't go any further. Jake had put together this first cut with non-royalty free music, because that's what we were expecting that we could afford at some point, and then putting in archival footage from ITV, from World Rugby, because we were like, that's the only thing we have access to. And then it got to a point where we were like, wait, how the hell are we going to pay for all of this stuff?
Yeah, and I remember, we met Ewan on the first interview day, and Ewan's the head of comms at Rugby, and he gave me his phone number and he said, let's stay in contact. If you ever need anything, let me know. And
really, like, amazing guy.
Never met us before, but he took a chance.
And at that point, I would talk to us then as kids.
Yes.
What we are now is like,
and you made a really good comment earlier before we started this podcast, being like, this was almost like our university.
100%.
Like, okay, well, we've been running the business for 5 years, but
we were doing the same stuff.
Yeah, and we were still young. We were 19 when we started this business.
Yeah.
You were 18.
Yeah.
I was 19. We'd kind of just come out this other side of university for most people.
Yeah.
And this was like our crash course. Like, we've got
to throw us into it and figure it out.
So I remember September came along and I said to Will, I was like, look, we need to find a way to get this
Done.
footage cheaper.
Yeah.
Shall we talk to England to see if they might give us some and give us access to their footage?
Yeah.
And, spoke to you and had a conversation, and it kind of started to snowball from there. And, they were really interested in helping us because they could see that we were telling a story about community rugby. Hadn't been done before. It had been done, but it hadn't been done in this kind of long form way. Like someone
A couple of social clips.
Yeah. And look, England have an amazing production team.
Incredible.
They make some incredible content. Freddie Ellis, who is one of their videographers for the men's first team, went to school with us. We know his work is great.
We idolized his work at some points.
Yeah. And we were like, that's cool. We'd love to work with these guys. But they don't have the time to be embedded within a rugby club for 18 months like we were.
It's impossible.
They don't have the time or the budget. It's, they have to tell so many more stories than that.
Yeah.
So I think this is a project that was aligning really well with them.
And at that point as well in time.
Yeah, the Netflix, the full contact, had just been cancelled with Netflix. And there was a gap that needed to be filled.
Yeah. And I think that's, what's it called? Divine intervention? Is that the thing where it's just like, it was just right in the right time?
And I remember it was early September, late August, and I had a meeting with Ewan and with Boffy at Maidenhead. And Ewan, first thing he said, I remember we went through it, showed him the trailer, showed him some other bits, and all he said to me was, "What do you need?"
Which is like the most incredible thing you could probably ever hear.
And like I think at this point, like this is when I really started to go grey. I was a youthful bloke beforehand.
Like I said, we were kids.
Yeah.
And now it's like, we're going to be adults.
Like I wasn't grey when I started this project. I am after. And I remember just like, for weeks and weeks and weeks over that summer being like to Brad, like, I just don't know how we're going to get this done. No one's talking to us. No one's wanting us to give us any money. And Ewan said, what do you need? And I explained to him what we needed. And the main thing was licensing footage.
Which is the main thing, yeah.
Getting the contacts at World Rugby that were going to allow us to get some of the World Cup footage.
Yeah.
And, what we basically came down to was if we were to do this under the England umbrella, they have the rights already. We weren't going to need to pay anything.
They have the music license. They have the archival footage. They can pretty much get us anything we want.
I told them financially what we needed
to
finish the project. And very luckily they said yes. And, that period, that was September 2025.
So we're a year in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that deal doesn't get fully done until nearly Christmas.
Yeah.
And actually, we received the first payment. So we then still had to finance this ourselves.
Yeah.
And from September until Christmas, because the deal didn't go through until a couple of days before Christmas, 2025. And we received the first payment in the first week of January.
So basically, after that meeting in September, we then decided, we decided that I would basically edit the whole thing. Because as good as Jake was, he wasn't there on the days. Obviously, he's an editor. And the story was in our heads, and we had lived it, and we had breathed it, and we had created it. It would have taken triple the length of time to edit it if you hadn't been there, you hadn't lived it, you hadn't breathed it. So I think we took the decision that we would edit it ourselves.
Yeah. And this is where we started really now looking at the footage.
We got properly into it then.
And this is where we spent hours sat at yours or my house just watching it back. You would spend a day
make something
cutting up. We would then sit there and watch the cut up footage. Be like, that's good, that's not. And this is where we kind of started to I personally started reviewing that initial list that Boffy gave to us a year before.
Yeah.
And being like, okay,
we need that.
How does that then piece into an episode, into 5 episodes?
Yeah.
Because this is where we then also started working. England helped us review some of this footage as well. Working with Liam and Jack, who are Liam is head of video at England. Jack makes all the community video stuffs.
Yeah.
So he spends a lot of time at community rugby clubs.
Yeah.
And they told us what would work and what wouldn't for their channel.
It was like incredible. Like,
and I think this is what we kind of needed. Like we didn't really know how to put something of this magnitude together.
we didn't know how to put multiple stories together in one episode. We would normally do 5 to 10 minute story. That's his own video. 5 to 10 minutes. That's how do you
make it a bigger thing?
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And actually, once we were able to sit down with England and they said this will work, this won't work.
It was eye opening.
It was and we then went away. So I think that was in October, wasn't it? I said October we had that.
Yeah, because it was just before the Autumn Nation series.
Yes, and we had tickets for the Autumn Nation series.
Yeah.
And we were like, we were chatting a lot about that.
Yeah.
They were preparing for that content.
Yeah.
So we were picking their brains because we love rugby and we want to know what's happening.
What's going behind the scenes? Yeah.
But also they were just helping us with the structure and figuring out that actually, there was things that just didn't need to be in there.
Yeah.
And actually,
And then things that we need to
add in.
There was stuff. I mean, there was a lot of things that they were like, oh, if you've got this content, it'd be really good to put in. And we were like, we don't have that content because we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
So we went and filmed that extra content.
Those pickup, especially with Gree. I think we did it 2 or 3 more times actually, filming Will. I mean, that's actually where we decided for Will to narrate it.
Yeah, that was
because Will before was a very big part of the documentary.
Didn't really have a purpose. He was like the main character, but didn't go throughout.
Yeah, and Will has a job. He has a full-time job as well.
He's a couple of jobs.
Yeah, besides being a TV personality, he actually has a real day job.
Yeah. His family, he has a wife.
He still, he does go to a lot of the games, still does do punditry. And actually just nailing him down, that was hard.
That was really hard, yeah.
And, he's a busy man. So for us to be able to, we had to do that 2 or 3 times to get that right.
Yeah.
And I think we went very close into April with that last filming day when we were releasing it in April.
Yeah, I think the last thing we filmed was probably maybe end of March.
Yeah, which were weeks away from release.
Yeah.
And that's also the thing. So, I remember in that initial meeting in November with England, and we were thinking, this would be good for the start of Six Nations, hype up the Six Nations.
A month.
And Christmas came around very quickly.
Yeah.
We had probably got episode 1 and 2 done at Christmas. Getting there.
Yeah, I would say we had 1 and 2 done by Christmas, and I'd started 3. After your birthday till March.
No life.
Nothing. Like every day from 8 till 8, editing that, looking through stories, going through it again, crying to you on the phone, going through it again, going through it again, going, I don't know what I'm doing. You going, take a day off.
Yeah. I look like
because I was like fully.
I remember like at that point. So that, you're in this almost full time from January, because that's when we finally got the money in.
Yeah.
And we had to give us, because we had to stop all the other work. We finally gave ourselves a bit of money.
Yeah.
From, the fight. We were paying Steve, who is our motion graphics artist. Steve,
Legend.
Shout out to Steve, absolute legend. He made this beautiful, and we'll show it here actually. The
triangle,
the pyramid. Oh my god! And I remember when we showed England that, they were like, "That's really good.
Cool. You've done this well."
Yeah. And I remember that's when we started adding those elements in. I was like, "Oh my god,
this is a proper thing."
Yeah, it's coming together.
Yeah.
We then added in Marcus doing the sound design, Marcus Bagshaw, and again,
massive help. Saved hours of my time.
And I remember when I watched the first cut of episode 1 with
fully done
with Steve's motion graphics, your editing and the grade on it, and then Marcus's audio. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is proper.
This is a documentary."
Yeah,
like this is. And we had 1 episode, and we were like, "Got to do 4 more of those."
Yeah, and then we missed the deadline of the Six Nations.
Yeah, I think they were they realized that they had asked us to do a lot of additional things. So I feel like it was, obviously we're going to think it's our fault, but I feel like it was a bit of mutual.
Yeah, I think they were actually very accepting of the fact that they were like, you've spent at this point 15 months on this project.
Yeah. And then another 2 months editing.
Yeah. You know, you guys, if you've spent this long at it, you may as well keep going.
Yeah.
And then actually, you know, England women's, the Red Roses had won their World Cup back in September.
Yeah.
And England were also releasing another documentary about that.
Yeah.
And so that we didn't want to take away from that.
Yeah.
They didn't want us to feel like
we were going to be a second thing.
Yeah, and they pushed it to April, which was actually best for us.
Yeah.
I mean, that time in my life got particularly hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, my mum passed away in that time.
Yeah.
And I was spending a lot of time in the hospital.
Yeah.
And Brad did a phenomenal job just to actually, you know, you let me go away.
Yeah, kept going. Yeah.
And you and Boffy kind of really took over and allowed me to have that time with my family.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm unbelievably grateful for. But it was like the worst timing. Like, you know, we're trying to finish this documentary.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, that moment with my mum passing
Yeah.
kind of added that pressure. Like, it,
100%.
it didn't make it any. It didn't make
It's already
it easier.
probably the hardest thing.
We don't.
I can safely say the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Anything that I do now, I'm like,
It's
so much easier than what I've done before.
And I didn't know how to like. I was going through. This was already the hardest thing I was already doing. Then the hardest thing in my life probably happened.
Exactly.
And it was kind of just like we've got to
do this justice.
Yeah, we do. And it was. I think that was like those are dark days. But we were weeks away from
possibly the biggest day of our lives at this point, hopefully.
And that's when, you know, we finally had a release date.
Yeah, we were organising the premiere.
You know, I was organising the premiere while you were finishing off the editing.
Probably was. So I think I got all the episodes to a viewable point by end of Feb, maybe early April. No, end of Feb was definitely when everyone started watching them.
Yeah,
and then pretty much all of March was
just the amendments.
Tweaks. Yeah.
Because this is where we had started England had all of the episodes. They're one of the agencies they work with on social media content.
Yeah.
They were viewing it. We were having to get the all clear from a few people.
Yeah.
And this is actually another thing that, like, getting this cleared.
By so many people.
Getting it cleared is a different story.
Yeah.
You know, you have the filming itself, this documentary, you then have the editing, you have the deal, which was, you know, that took a long time. And then actually to finally finish it and then get it cleared by the lawyers, the social team, the
film
comms
board
team, the film. Yeah, and this is what we forgot about. Oh my God. And, you know, I remember we booked so we had our premiere
early April.
Yeah, in Northern Farm, which is it's an art centre in Maidenhead.
Yeah, local cinema, yeah.
We wanted to keep it in Maidenhead. We wanted it to be, you know, this is about Maidenhead. We wanted the premiere to be in Maidenhead. Chose Northern. And I remember getting an email and Terry, you know, she said to me, so have you got clearance?
And this was what? So the premiere was probably on a Wednesday. This was on the Friday before.
Yeah. And we had to get the cinema version made because what people don't realize is we are actually showing 2 episodes at the premiere.
Yeah.
Because they were 15, 20-minute episodes. We wanted to do justice and show them a couple of episodes. So we showed episode 1, episode 3.
Controversial.
Which the reason we did it is because episode 2 is such a good cliffhanger.
Yeah. Episode 1 finishes on such a good cliffhanger. Yeah.
We wanted to leave that part. We also wanted to show the variety at the premiere. So episode 3 kind of does that. And so we had to get this ready for clearance. And I remember we looked it up. Not quite. We knew that we could get it done fairly quickly,
but we had no idea what.
We also had no idea how much it was going to cost.
Yeah,
and it's something that I particularly didn't budget for. I didn't think we needed to do it because we were going onto YouTube in the end,
and then we were also showing it in a local cinema to friends and family, private audience.
You know, friends and family.
Why do we need a rating? Why do we need a special
But yeah, we had to get a proper rating because it was a proper, it's a registered cinema. And this was a massive learning curve for us. And I just remember I was in the car on the way to the on the way to the cinema to have a talk with the team there about the premiere. And I was like, Brad, we've got to get this we've got to get this done. And you're on the website. You go, yeah, I'm going to get it booked in now. And I'm like, how much is it? And you're like, I think it's £700.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't have £700 at the moment.
Yeah, we've just paid for a premiere. Like,
I was like, we've just paid. I think in total, we spent close to £50,000 on this project.
Yeah, wow.
Which is a lot of money to think about. And I could be very, that's between donations from people at the club, from our own pocket,
yeah,
and then England
finishing it off.
That is.
It might be more.
Yeah, I know. I haven't really done the final numbers. I have, there's kind of 3 stages to the project.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about 55 to £60,000.
Jesus.
And I'm like, we have
spent everything,
blown everything. And I think you and I made a decision fairly early on into this that this might not be about us making money, but more.
No, it's about our names being out there. It's about bigger than us. I don't want to put it lightly. Like, we made something like for a local community that everyone knows about. Yeah, and that people still come up to me and up to you regularly and go, "Saw the documentary, it was really cool." Season 2, don't know.
You had it the other day. I had it last week.
Yeah,
I had it. Someone from up north. We were talking rugby.
Yeah,
and he told me about my own documentary, which is mental.
And like, I think that's you can't pay for that.
And so and I think that film board thing was just like it was quite funny because it's kind of like the final nail in the coffin.
And we were just like, go on, just
because we just wanted it done.
Yeah,
I think at that point we know we had to get this done, and I think I personally, for me, probably 2 weeks before the premiere, my mum passed.
Yeah,
the biggest day of my life. I've spent a year and a half talking to her about it. All I wanted her was to be there.
Yeah.
And she could. And I remember then being like this juxtaposition of like that moment we were on stage talking to everyone, being interviewed. We were interviewed by the Times, the Telegraph, we're in all of these papers. It's on Sky Sports the next day. It's BBC. People,
the local press, huge as well.
Yeah, I was just like, it was a lot going on.
You went from down there to up there, and
I remember, it was a proud moment for you, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't think we haven't done anything close to that.
No, ever. We're only a couple months later. We're working on doing something bigger. So, it's just been an incredible journey, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we knew. That's probably the theme of this video. We had no idea where it was going to go, how big it was going to go, who was going to enjoy it. But we said, as long as we enjoy the process and we enjoy the outcome, someone's gonna like it.
Yeah, and that's all you can ask for. If people, I don't mind if 100 people watched it, as long as someone enjoyed it. And I think
100%.
We've had people turn up at the rugby club and start playing the game again. People have come down and volunteered
which was the original main goal,
was actually just to get bodies in the club. And we did that, and I think,
that's all
successful. So, Brad, if I said to you then, we're nearly 2 years later, next month, in about exactly a month's time, it will be the 2-year anniversary of us joining the rugby club and starting this journey. Season 2?
I have to wait and see.
What are some of your favourite moments of this journey so far?
I think getting to know Will, like you said at the start, someone that has always been sort of like at the top of the rugby greats in this country.
Yeah,
TV personality, all of that. Getting close to Will, hanging out with him, having beers with him, talking on the phone, like surreal.
Building a relationship with him was
surreal.
Cool.
And calling him probably a friend at this point, which is mental to think about. That's definitely one of my favorite things. Getting back to rugby club, huge. I don't think we're ever going to leave.
Well, so look, we now sponsor the team.
Yeah.
Our logo's on the shirt.
Yeah.
We're locked in for at least 3 years on that.
Yeah.
Um,
We have so many friends there now, like people that we go socialize with outside the club. Like,
regular, they're mates as well.
so it's like giving us more friends, giving us extended family.
And do you know, people always said, like, I think actually it's been quite common in recent chat is having that third space.
Yeah.
And I think that really kind of filled that
That's
void.
huge.
Like being part of a club and being part of the community. And actually, we go down there, we don't get paid. We help out, we volunteer.
We go for fun.
We go for fun. We
go to
enjoy
socialise.
that. Giving that back is worth so much more to us than anything else.
What was your favourite filming day?
My favorite filming day. I mean, obviously the first one with Bill and Steve, Clive Woodward,
Mental.
hero
Yeah.
rugby scene. Obviously, he was the first manager of England that I really remember.
Yeah.
That was really surreal talking to him. Him and Bill, and actually just it was bizarre because like before nobody had ever taken an interest in what we were doing. Well, we would normally come up to a job and we were just the camera guy.
Yeah.
This was like, oh, you're something. This is almost bigger than us.
Yeah.
And I think that moment it really sat in for me. But I have to say, like, okay, two other days other than that. The first one would be the Bracknell home game, which you weren't there for.
No, I was in Australia.
And I was, and it was. I don't think I've drank that many beers after a game since.
I don't think anyone has.
But there was grown men crying in the stand. There was the boys crying on the pitch.
The footage of that is immense.
It was insane. Greg, I mean, if I picture, we'll put the clip in here, but last minute of the game, kick to win to beat the local derby. Bracknell and Maidenhead hate each other.
Yeah.
So that moment for me was incredible. The Jersey game, purely because who Jersey are.
Yeah.
If you don't know, Jersey were a championship club.
A very good championship.
Which is the one below the Premiership. The year before they got into administration financially, and what was their pro team ceased to exist. Jersey dropped right down into our league, and so firstly the Jersey away game when we went to Jersey,
That that's definitely up there. I think.
We flew in and out of Jersey in a day, which was really cool.
With all the boys, all the coaching staff, like
Great laugh.
real bonding trip. That was probably what
Terrible game because they lost.
they got battered.
But on the return leg at Maidenhead, again,
Nothing to lose at that point.
Greg Smith,
Yeah.
last minute kick to win the game, second one of the season. The boys were down at half time. They
were up at halftime.
Were they up at half time?
Yeah, they were battering them at halftime.
But Jersey started to bring it back, didn't they?
They scored 2 just for halftime, if I remember.
Yeah. And
Or
then
1 either side of halftime.
then were equal 2 minutes to go.
Yeah. They just
scored.
They just scored and then they just kicked a penalty.
We didn't get a penalty from Sean's being grabbed back,
Yeah.
held back. Greg on just past 22, wasn't it?
Yeah, left-hand side.
It came down to the boy again, Greg Smith.
Really, what a season.
Again, that day was incredible.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't there for that as well. But
do you know, the one for me that day was how much it meant to everyone else, and actually,
yeah, it was the wider club.
Dick Brown, who is
Legends.
the grandfather of the club,
Been there for
him in the
millennia.
changing room crying his eyes out. When a
Singing
grown man
Eurasia.
cries, there's something about it. I was just like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Again, it's something you felt bigger than just
You with the camera.
yeah.
Yeah, you were doing something more than yourself. Like he's now got videos online for the rest of his life, for the rest of his kids' life, grandkids' life.
Yeah.
They will go, that's my granddad, that's my great granddad, that's my dad. Like,
Yeah. And I think
that's special.
if anything, if I was to take anything from this, those are my favorite moments, favorite filming days. But my favorite thing about this documentary was finding the club and becoming a part of it.
Yeah.
And,
Giving them something to look back on forever.
yeah, and I think so many people like also going to Frenchie,
Yeah.
club captain, co-captain.
Yeah.
He, ended his career during this documentary.
Yeah.
And I think being able to, for him, give him that on film and he can watch it back.
Yeah.
A man who gave so much to the club.
He's always got that, yeah.
And he's still very much a part of it, still very much helping the boys
Yeah.
on the other side of the pitch now.
Yeah.
But I think that was cool, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think that was cool to give back. Greg, being able to give him the chance to go to Zimbabwe and try out for the national team.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much what we had done meant to him
Yeah.
until recently. We sat down and had a conversation with him
Yeah.
about it, and actually it made him believe that there's some he
We
could
could do more.
Yeah.
100%.
So I think that was
Giving people, how do you want to phrase it?
I don't want to say give them a voice, but like
Platform.
it's giving them a platform.
Giving them a platform, I think, was probably the best part of this documentary. Because how often does a Step 5 local sports team get a 5-part documentary series on the national sports team YouTube channel? Hardly ever.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was a great part. And it really what it made me realize is that I for so many years we have been actually mainly working in the product space. For me more so
Yeah.
than you probably. You do a lot of other stuff,
Mm.
but for a good few years there, I was mainly doing photography for products and videos for products.
Very lonely.
And I realized I was kind of selling shit to people a lot of the time, and there was kind of like, I'm getting paid quite well to do
You didn't
this.
feel passionate about it.
Yeah, and whereas this was like, this is bigger than, my camera could be bigger than just
Yeah.
like me trying to sell you something, because actually after a while it becomes quite boring. Whereas this is, this can actually do some good. And I think that made me realize that actually being creative can do good.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. What surprised you the most?
What's how much fucking footage it was going to take. I didn't expect there to be that many hours of footage. I think looking back on it now, I would do it. We would do it differently, and I know both of us have said that quite a few times.
We were planning differently. We were going in blind.
But also, it's one of these things that any day that we did miss, we normally miss something pretty good, and so like you had to be there the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that got like some days it got quite lonely in terms of we've just got to keep. We don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
And I think that was surprising. What about yourself?
What surprised me? I don't know. I always feared the edit for the whole time we were filming, so I can't say that surprised me. It was always like, we'll have to put this together at some point. What surprised me the most? I think what surprised me the most, I think how prepared you have to be for every situation.
That's a good one.
You can have all the kit, you can have everything you need to create a beautiful image, but you've got to be prepared for anything. If you don't have a mic on someone, you've got to be there with your shotgun mic already on your camera so you can quickly plug it in, get a little bit of scratch audio, because you never know what they're going to say.
And actually I remember when Marcus, when he came in to do the sound, he was like, do you have that audio? Like, he can do stuff with it and save, like, and Marcus saved the edit quite a few times.
Yeah, a lot of audio. Like I said, like there's points where you don't have a mic on you, but you have a shotgun mic. You've just got to be able to film it in a way that just about makes it work, rather than going, I need to go get the mics. Can you just wait?
And actually, sometimes perfect isn't always.
You can't, like, we're a 2-man, basically a 1-man band at this point.
Yeah.
Like, trying to create a documentary
on a shoestring budget. With it,
just got to make it work.
And actually, like, a lot of people be like, well, I don't have that amount of money that we did to spend on the documentary. And like, we were very lucky in the way that it came together.
I mean, we were just spending money that we were getting through jobs. We were taking less money. We were
more. We spent the most time on it, but we got paid the least out of every single person on that documentary.
But what it was worth to us is
the weight in gold. It's What was the hardest day for you?
Every day of editing. No, how was the hardest? Yeah, I think it was like trying to get episode 1 done.
Because you did say after episode 1, you knew kind of the structure. It was much easier after that.
Yeah, I think after episode 1, I was like, okay, I have the formula. I know how to do this. It took ages to figure out how to do, because you look at, there was days that I was plugging in 6 SSDs and 2 HDDs into my computer.
Yeah, that's like actually just physically retrieving the footage is quite a job.
Like, I think that, and then collating all that footage, that could take the whole day. So then it's the next day. If I finish at 9 o'clock, I give myself an hour before I go to bed. I wake up at 7. I get to my desk at 8. And then I'm actually starting the job.
Mm.
So it's like everything takes a day
Yeah.
to do. So it's like when that was done, the first episode, and I'd figured out a process and I'd organized everything.
Because I remember you ringing me up and I was like, what do you need to get this done?
Yeah.
And get this done in the quickest way possible. And you said, I need 2 4 terabyte SSDs.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know what was going on in 2025 at the end of the year, Trump was on a wild one
Yeah.
with bombing Iran.
Yeah.
Now, let's get topical here. The prices of SSDs, because of one AI, but also that
Yeah.
skyrocketed.
Doubled in price.
And, you know, Trump's doing Trump things. And it absolutely
Screwed us over.
Absolutely screwed us. Because I remember having to order those on Amazon. Stupid place to get it. And it was, I think, like £2,000 nearly.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were like 600. Oh, no, he's probably like 1,500 quid.
Yeah, it was like 1,500 quid. I was like, it's another 15, like, because we were spending a lot of money in different areas.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're trying to, pay the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Because you've got people.
They're more important than us at this point.
Yeah. But then you actually just be able to physically need to be able to do the job.
Yeah. Because there was a point where I was like, I can't do this on this many SSDs.
You need one big one.
I need one big one. Because when we first started, we bought two terabyte SSDs.
Yep.
That doesn't fit anything.
What was our final number on collative?
Terabytes.
Yeah, terabytes.
We filled up half, so that's 9. Oh no, we filled up 10 terabytes on one, and then let's call it 20.
20 terabytes. It's a lot.
Let's call it 20. And that's with a backup. Like, that's, yeah, 20. 25 with everything backed up twice, I'd probably say. Maybe.
It's just a lot. It's a lot of footage.
Yeah.
There's a lot. How many hours do you reckon we had? Because I want to say it's at least 50 hours.
Yeah, so like all the interview days probably put together. So first one we interviewed 12 people, second one we interviewed 8. If we interviewed everyone for an hour, it's like 20. So like all the interview days were probably like 25 hours.
So it's like, yeah, so it's a day of foot. So like for people to understand that, Brad has to sit and watch that. So that is a day of his time gone just watching the footage
On 2 times speed.
Yeah.
That is probably the best thing about that I learned from editing.
It's 2 days.
Is how to listen to stuff on 2 times speed.
I think it's why we were transcribing a huge amount.
To the point that I now can't watch a lot of videos not on 2 times speed.
Yeah, that's
Because my brain works so quickly. I need things to come out faster. But yeah, that I think. What was the question?
how many?
Oh, how many hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like. Yeah, probably 50. That's conservatively saying that. I don't want to say 100. That sounds a bit much, but
Yeah, 50 hours, I think, between the interview days and the B-roll and the
pickup
training
shots,
sessions.
yeah.
And yeah.
What was your favorite interview?
My favorite interview. That's a tough one. I think so. There's a couple that I really I loved interviewing Will because he is very passionate about it.
He's so articulate.
Yeah, but actually, like one that I really enjoyed was Dick Brown
Oh,
because he is like I mean, I look at him like a grandfather figure, and he is passionate about it, and I have a lot of time for Dick. I have a lot of time for Dickie.
I didn't even clock.
I have a lot of time for Dick, and oh, fuck's sake, don't come out. No, so I have a lot of time for Dickie. He an incredible human being.
Some of the stories that he's told us over the
But also just hearing about the club from what it was to what it is now, and like the world has changed, but the club has changed with the world, and I think it's evolved in the times.
Yeah.
As to have someone, his opening line in the first thing that we said to him was, people think I was here at the start of the club. And that was in 1921. Obviously, he wasn't, but it's
not far off.
It's just funny in that way.
But he is himself. He is not influenced. He is not on social media. He's not influenced by anything.
Yeah,
the news and people of the club.
And I think
he's so himself.
So this is where this is the problem with. So when you interview people like Bill Sweeney. Bill Sweeney has he's still a very articulate man. He speaks unbelievably well about rugby. He's a man who gets a huge amount of hate for no reason because he's doing a very tough job and he's doing a very good job at it, I have to say. And
and he's been around and he knows what he's doing.
He was at Team GB beforehand.
He's worked a lot of sports. Yeah,
he understands how to run a sports organization. But when you talk, these guys are media trained. And they're very good at hitting their points.
You could tell what they're going to say,
and like that. But that's to be expected.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can get annoyed about that. Dickie he's talking from the heart.
He'll say what he wants to say,
and so that's what I love. And I think that's the good thing about a documentary like Heart of the Game. It is for people by people, and it's for the community.
Yeah,
and
you get a full range of people.
You get you see the real people in that, and I think that is why people love the documentary because it is authentic and we're not trying to be anything we don't want to be.
It's relatable.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
What was the biggest surprise for you?
I think we got it done. I think actually that we got it done. Not the fact that I didn't believe we would get it done. Just if I thought about. Okay, we started this business after having like 5 pints at the pub and shooting the shit and coming up with a crazy idea, and we somehow made it work. This was another one of those ideas where it was just like, is it going to work? Like, we have no idea what we're doing. So from day one to the finish, yes, I'm surprised. Because when we started, I was like,
this could go anywhere.
What is going to happen?
I just love that we've done this twice now. We've had a lot of crazy ideas over a bit, but this is another big one that has come.
That's worked,
and we pulled it off.
Yeah.
And actually, for me, there was a really proud moment when all of our friends and our family were at the premiere, they were just like, "Boys,
how have you done this?" Like,
and everyone was like, because like a lot of your mates, like we're a classic lads group, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the time they take the piss out of each other. We take the piss out of each other.
It's an endearment. Yes,
this is what you do.
It's because
for them to be like, boys,
that's
well done.
Yeah.
I mean, your mom and dad couldn't be there, but my dad was there, and like him crying. I was just like,
I've done it.
It's cool.
100%. And I think they've seen us from 18, 19 years old, running around with cameras, just
trying to make this business work.
And then they see us at a cinema with over 100 people. So
it's a crazy to think that 2019 we were sat in Henley Weatherspoons, came up with Polo Media House, and now we're making a documentary, and we made it, and it got done, and it is out there, and nobody can ever take that away from us.
No, I think that is probably the best thing about it.
I think there was there's a stat that 90% of documentaries don't break even. But 90% of documentaries also don't make a single penny in terms of funding or just any financial.
I want to know what the stat is on documentaries that get filmed and not finished.
Yeah, because there's going to be hundreds of millions of those.
Millions of those.
So for it to be our first one, to partner with England on it, to sell it. Well, we sold the rights to it. We still we sold a license to it. We still own the rights outright. And to come out of it actually basically breaking even.
Yeah.
Where
we loosely
broke even.
Yeah.
Depends how you want to look at the numbers.
Yeah.
I think that's an achievement itself.
Yeah. From our non-mathematical, non-financial advisor way.
Yep.
I think we broke even.
Yep.
If you probably looked at it a bit closer.
I think the return that we got from it in other areas
for sure
has made up.
We grew as a business. We became more professional as a business. We work with bigger clients. We work with higher paying clients.
It was a woman.
It was a woman.
It was a loss leader, but it was a very good loss leader.
It was very good. Yeah.
Because we Brad and I always wanted to do longer form, and we wanted to.
Documentaries was the reason we started the business. Realistically, yeah,
It was, and we want. I see. I don't know if it was TV was always the end goal. I don't think that was the case. It was
No.
actually just longer form content.
Yeah, I think it was just meaningful stories were always what we would watch. We would watch YouTube videos on mini documentaries. We'd watch all sorts of documentaries ourselves just in our personal time. So it was like, we have cameras and we know how to edit. We like this. How do we put this together? And we did.
What was your favorite episode?
Episode 4. Episode 4. That I would say episode 4 is my love letter to rugby.
Okay.
Because I feel like, and you as well, we have been on those days. From start to finish, we now know. Obviously, it starts with Billy. We're very close with Billy now. We know his story. We know what he does for the club. So it was giving him the light that he deserves, that he doesn't always get. Then into the game footage with Greg and Bracknell. Obviously, that's insane. We've been involved in sporting games before. Like, we know what that means to do that. That's crazy.
To witness it as well.
To witness it. And then to go into Phil, like, boyhood club, been there for years. I've known Phil for most of my life, probably. Giving him the recognition that he deserves, someone that doesn't expect the limelight, knows he's not the best player on the pitch, but will turn up Tuesday, Thursday, drive an hour to and from training, work night shifts, turn up, put in a fucking solid performance, get kicked around, get punched around,
and then go to work after.
Go to work, and he'll just turn up on Tuesday and not expect to be praised and congratulated for it. And then, obviously, Jersey is just we've heard, one of, if not the most magical day in that club, that we have that on video.
I mean, I remember we put a cut together of that before we actually even finished all the episodes, and we showed the boys, and these are
tears.
These are grown men crying in that rugby club, because like that will be probably the best moment for a lot of them on the rugby pitch.
Yeah, and it's captured forever. What about you?
So there's a big thing. I love episode 1 and episode 2. So but I think they're very much set up episodes.
Yeah.
I actually do think my favorite is episode 3.
Yeah, I get that.
We dive into Izzy's story with Sarah. Izzy tragically lost her life, and Sarah talking about that made me cry the first time we watched that.
Yeah,
and that was to be able to kind of shed a light on that, and Brave Mind, that charity, and also the unicorns, because the unicorns, a lot of those had some very hard times, and the fact that they find themselves in a space where they feel safe, in an environment they feel safe,
and they can play rugby like everyone should be able to do.
I love that. So that shows that I think rugby is an inclusive sport, and it is for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
And actually, that sometimes life gets hard, and you need to lean on someone. And
having
actually,
a rugby club, yeah,
a rugby club can do that for your mental health. Mental health is a massive thing these days. We talk about it a lot more, and I think personally as men, we got to talk about it more. So, having a rugby club and seeing that it does a lot of good in those situations. I mean, look, I saw it for myself. I had a first-hand account of this. I lost my mum during this filming, during when we were releasing it, and that club really got behind me personally, and they showed me that, we filmed it and I watched it for other people, and then I was the recipient of that. So that kind of,
you put good karma and you got good karma. I think that's,
and I think so that's why that episode, because I think that episode really shines a light on how good rugby.
Yeah, and I think you can relate to that.
Yeah,
100%. Couldn't give a better reason really for that.
What's your favorite shot?
My favorite. It's hard not to say like shot of Greg kicking over against Bracknell. You did that. You did that. That was a great shot. And that's big for me to say that one of your shots.
Yeah, I know. Brad isn't a fan of my skill level all the time.
But you've learned a lot.
Yeah, I did.
As much as I have, you've learned a lot as well. That is definitely up there. More so from a fact of the moment that you captured was, and the
lighting was brilliant.
It was dusky.
It was winter as well, like
the floodlights.
there was slight haze in the air. And do you know what? It's Jevo in that. Harry Jevons is in that shot, you know, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
That is crazy.
Yeah, I do love that.
What is another good shot? There's a really good shot of Frenchie giving a team talk at the end of the season.
Yeah,
going, really good season, boys, but we finished mid-table, and this club strives to be more than a mid-table side. That shot and that like line, I think, is my favorite because it's like that's what they stand for.
Yeah,
they always want to be better, and I'm like, okay, I like that. That from a rugby side, I actually can't think of any. Like,
I love the shot of Green's the opening, which was one of the very, very first things we recorded, and it was the line of him saying, "This is my sport and I love it.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to carry me off in a box."
Yeah,
and I think that's because I think that shows him
passion. Yeah,
he's a very passionate man. He talks so well about rugby, and I think that's it's one of those things that kind of that sticks with you because I'm like, made me want to lay someone boots. I'm like, right, give me back in. I'm a guy with a very dodgy knee, and so is Brad actually. So for me to say like, let's get back on the, I was
takes
like,
a lot.
Yeah,
I'm trying to actually think. Like, I can't actually visualize like the episodes now.
It's hard. We'll have to watch them back. I think also like in terms of
some of the ending shots of the last episode are so good.
What have you learned from this?
Like unlimited things. Like, I think it's changed my whole perspective on being a videographer.
Get that?
I think it's like the whole thing is different. Like,
do you know? I think you realize one of the things that you realize how to be so much more brutal.
Yeah,
especially in the edit.
Oh,
like you can. I also find as well, like it's much easier to link things up now, and I can see things.
Oh, it's so
how things could be.
Yeah,
but also like we went from very little interview experience to now quite a lot.
I think that's probably it. I think I know how to pick out sound bites to make a story. Like,
and I feel like we've really so we never really had like our, I don't want to say big viral moment because we're not there yet.
Yeah,
we haven't really, we did really well off this.
Yeah.
The numbers were great, but like before this, we didn't really get many videos hitting the 50, the 60, 100,000 views.
Yeah,
and now they come quite regularly.
Yeah, with these clips. Yeah.
Because like we've learned the format a bit more.
Yeah, we know it works.
Yeah,
100%. What have you learned?
Yeah, I just like one like similar to what you said, picking out sound bites.
Yeah.
Also, like I know what's for me from. I think the thing I'm most proud about is learning how to go into a negotiation and negotiate a deal.
Get what you want.
And so from that point of view, I've always loved the business side. I've always loved going after the deals. I've always loved trying to bring in the money. This was a whole different scale.
Yeah.
And actually being I think holding my own in a boardroom of executives
that have been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
Yeah, for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And then actually coming out with it with a deal.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm probably most proud of.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
But actually the premiere, that experience.
It goes without saying, yeah, absolutely.
Like organizing that and setting that up and then actually coming off it actually was quite good.
People go, it was a really good event. You're going, I literally was just like meeting.
Yeah.
Saying yes, booking.
But surreal experience wise would probably be when I was interviewed, one for the announcement for England Rugby to do the announcement of the series, the press release,
Yeah.
and then actually having a phone call from the Time, I think it was the Times or the Telegraph,
Yeah.
asking me for another few words about it. I was like, yeah, that's pretty
What the
cool.
hell,
And then when
yeah.
we saw it in the paper the next day,
Yeah.
double page spread.
Our pictures and
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty cool.
What's your funniest moment?
I think that away trip to Jersey that didn't really make the cut because it didn't work in the bigger story. But in terms of being there and being with the lads, that was probably a couple months in to knowing them.
Yeah, very early on.
Feeling part of the team, cracking jokes, just yeah. I know why it's the funniest day, because we gave 2 of the lads the DJI action cams and they vlogged the whole day, and they were just hilarious, absolutely hilarious. None of that footage will ever be seen by anyone apart from them.
Yeah, I've watched it a few times, and I've watched it a few times, and it's so funny.
But I think that whole day was just the getting to Heathrow at like 6 a.m, getting on a flight at like 8, getting to Jersey, having breakfast with everyone, then had like hours just to like kill, like warming up.
Yeah.
Having the game, which was, don't need to talk about that. After having beers with everyone, doing man of the match, running back to the airport, which was like half a mile.
Which also, I have never walked from an airport before.
No, to where you were going.
To where we were going. Because if you don't know where Jersey Airport is, it's right next to the rugby club, and it's probably a 500-meter walk?
Yeah. From the car park, probably a 500-meter walk,
And so I found that very funny that the game ended, you and I slammed a Guinness.
Straight on the plane.
Straight to run to get the plane because we were going to miss it.
Yeah.
And actually now not seeing any of Jersey.
Yeah.
Other than inside a garden centre for a full English, which is really weird.
Really weird, yeah.
That
was definitely I mean, there was loads
of moments.
So
right?
many
There were so many funny moments.
moments.
There's some things that we just can't talk about. There's just some inappropriate things that the boys were doing.
As you would expect.
As you would expect from rugby players.
Yeah.
What best piece of advice you would give someone doing, we're going to start a documentary? What would you say?
I think aside from the obvious, just do it, just start, just do something. One of our favorite creators, Casey Neistat, very great video that probably has inspired me throughout my whole career subconsciously. Imagine you're on a treadmill. As long as you put one foot in front of the other, you will keep going. The moment you stop, you will just fall off the back.
So true.
It's just do something, plan it, shoot a test interview, like film something, get started in some way, get your creative juices going. I think it's probably cliche, but probably the biggest advice. And then, no, actually, probably that's it. I don't know. I don't think anything else you just have to figure out when doing it. I think that's another thing, probably. Don't worry about not having all the answers. Just do it.
Yeah. I'd say just starting.
Yeah.
I think I have to say just start. I mean, I would also say, and I was actually quite bad in the point that probably 2 years ago when we were starting this project, I was in a bit of like, I'm not going to do any more free work. I've spent 7 years building my career. I know my worth. And I kind of was like, actually, do you know what? Like I was so arrogant to think that.
It does humble you. It does.
Because actually, do you know what? It was really good for me to have
that lease of life.
Yeah. This free, yes, we got paid by the end of it, but it started off as a free project.
And we just did it for passion.
And we did it purely for the passion, for the love of the game, and that we wanted to make something.
Yeah.
And I think that took me back to our early days. Like, it really felt like,
whether it was just social clips, like it would have felt like that. Yeah.
When it really kind of took me back to those early days when we were in my bedroom, just trying to build a business and not knowing how to build one.
Yeah. Just
I think this being in the unknown again, and being in that, like, this is such a space that we don't understand, and then just trying to figure it out. That was really cool.
I think it was equally scary as it was exciting.
Yeah.
Which I think is what we've realized is now what we need to do.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, I think we were probably both very comfortable.
Yeah.
So you got to that stage where you had to push yourselves again.
I get it. Cliche. never, being uncomfortable is, dangerous.
Exactly.
Like, you need to push yourself. What would you say was the biggest disaster? I don't think we had any like howlers.
No, I don't think there was. There was a couple, and I think this is when Marcus really saved us. There was a few bits of audio that we really either didn't have
Yeah.
or didn't know we kind of messed up,
Mm.
and he brought that back to life. And I think like actually, it wasn't so much a disaster. It wasn't a disaster, but it was a point that I think our inexperience showed.
It was a problem we had to solve.
Because we kind of very much went into this as a visual thing, like we're just filming a documentary in the way that we've always done it before. Audio is, I think, I learned the importance of good audio during this project.
Absolutely.
And being more mindful of that.
At all times.
All times. Whether it be on the pitch, whether it be on the training ground, and you're just getting there. There was a lot of arguments on the training pitch, and that's what we needed captured.
Yeah.
And a lot of time we didn't have that audio.
Yeah.
And I think that really, the visuals carry a story, but the audio is...
You got to live it, yeah.
Yeah, you need that. So I think learning the importance of... And actually, learning the importance of audio, but also putting that first, not making it an afterthought, because it really was an afterthought beforehand.
Yeah.
And now I think in a lot of what we do is we realize how, even though it's just atmospherical sounds, like on the day, like, because you can't get them back.
You got to build the story, yeah.
You can make them up, but it doesn't feel as real.
To us.
Yes, to us.
I don't think anyone else is going to realise the
most emotional scene.
Obviously. The Sarah's story about Izzy. I mean, that was
hard to film.
Hard to film, hard to edit over and over and over again. Making sure that... I think the hardest thing of that was trying to fit it into a 50-minute episode, but also giving it justice and the time it deserved. I think that was hard.
This could link back into the disaster moment, but I felt bad that we had to put Sarah through it again.
Yeah.
Because we did film it with Sarah twice. Now, that was one because we touched on it earlier on in filming in the start of it.
Yeah.
But we never really went deep into it.
We didn't get her in a room.
And you've got to remember, like, at that point, it was only a year removed from when Izzy had actually died.
Yeah.
And I think I felt really bad in the way that making her unpack that.
Yeah.
And for her to relive that experience of losing her daughter again.
I think that's very underrated for filmmakers, having to be in those situations. Obviously, I'm not saying fucking, boo us. But, like, it's very underrated, and what we've learned since talking to other documentary makers is you go through a lot of hard-hitting stuff if you want to make hard-hitting stories. And as much as they're talking about it, you've got to sit there and listen, be reciprocal, talk to them about, ask them questions, make them feel comfortable, and then obviously edit it again and again and again.
And sometimes, like, you're putting them in that situation, and you have to ask them again to say it again, because you need that line, that clip. And I have to give props to Sarah.
She's incredible.
She didn't. I remember when I first approached her about would she do the interview again. She was really unsure, and she was like, "No, I know I need to do this, because if I can save one life, that's good enough for me. Me sitting through this, that is good enough."
Yeah,
and
it's hard for me, but...
And I thought, I was so proud of her in that moment, but also I was like, wow, that is a resilient woman. That is someone
incredible,
who's had an absolutely traumatic experience and has put other people first over her own emotions.
And
I can't give her enough of props for that, because that is an incredible thing to do.
Absolutely.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely. We've always said from 18, 19 years old, documentaries, end goal. We just did a documentary list. We're already planning others.
Things, yeah. It's a bug, isn't it?
It's a bug. I think creating something, as much as how hard editing and filming something long form over months and years is horrendously difficult. So rewarding.
100%.
So rewarding. Like, equally the hardest thing we've done and the best thing we've ever done. But yeah, I think, why not? So, 18 months of filming and editing.
We did it.
3 months since we've finished it. Final thoughts?
I'm still really proud of the achievement.
Yeah.
I think it's I don't think it's still quite set in. I mean, I had a hangover.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I had like at least like from April to at least May,
Yeah.
even the start of June. That was hard. Like the come down from that was insane because we got national coverage on it. We had a lot of very cool things happen in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
But like you go from thinking about something every single day
Waking
for
moment.
18 months to all of a sudden you don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it was different. So for the first 2 weeks after the release, we were still very much doing stuff.
Yeah.
And we was doing a lot of press and there was a lot of stuff going out. And so you were kind of living it still.
Yeah.
When that stopped.
When the social clips stopped coming out,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, this is done.
Yeah, look, that is the story of Heart of the Game. And I think we've just really scratched the surface with it. I think we'd love to probably do more stuff on it. And but thank you very much to one. I think we need to say thank you to Maidenhead. Thank you to Boffy, Billy, Jamie, Tash, Dick,
all the senior boys,
Frenchie,
Greg,
Mobsy,
Phil.
Yeah, so many people, too many to mention. Thank you to England, first of all, as well. Thank
believing in us.
Yeah, for taking the chance, and two strapping young lads, if I do say so myself.
Some smart strapping.
Thank you to Bill, Ewan, Liam, Jack,
everyone on the video team.
For giving us a go. Thank you to Northern Farm for hosting the premiere.
Yeah.
I think on one really big thank you to Will.
Yeah.
Thank you to Greens. You are a hero for taking the chance on us. Thank you for just giving us an opportunity and giving us a platform and actually just being a team player and just getting involved. And actually, you didn't know us. You had no clue who we were. And you took a chance.
You gave us time of day. You gave us all the support we needed. You gave us kicks up the backsides when we needed it. Like, yeah, amazing. Couldn't have.
And you're a proper partner on this project. So thank you.
Yeah, as big as we were on this, 100%. Thanks to you. Thanks to you for
thank you, mate.
Putting up with us.
And I think thank you to the girlfriends for breaking up with us in this time.
Yeah, I mean,
this is the first episode of the new podcast.
Have we got a name yet?
We're just sticking with the PMH podcast.
Working title.
So yeah, that is the first episode of the podcast. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We will be bringing you more content soon.
Yeah, hopefully we're gonna try and fit it in somewhere. But I think
it's good. This is like therapy for us. We've got to debrief these things.
Yeah, we've got to debrief. I think debrief is probably the best word to describe it.
And I know people miss the pod.
I've heard from some people.
I've heard. We do have a very micro niche audience, but
yeah. Micro niche is quite funny.
Micro niche.
Micro, it's a niche.
Yeah, it's a micro niche audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much. If you're watching this on the clips, make sure you go watch the full version on YouTube.